So go create your own personal referral network of professionals in your market. So let's take some suggestions. Who would be a professional that we could add to our referral group in our market that we could pass referrals back and forth with one another? Who has a win they want to share in the last week? Who has a good story for me? Nobody? Nobody has a win? Everybody's depressed?
Go ahead, Joe.
So I am super excited because I like to attract people to our tribe, and I have successfully attracted another member of Buffalo, New York to our EXP tribe of great people in the fast forward movement and the honey badgers and the four aces.
Four aces. Yeah, I know all these umbrellas, right?
Yeah, I got a couple umbrellas. Might have to make a new one called the Diamond Hands.
The Turco tribe.
Nope, the Diamond Hands, because we fancy and we glittery, and we don't sell. But yeah, no. So I'm super excited about that. That was a big win because he's a really, really nice guy that I think is going to do a lot of good things.
Cool.
My other big win is I have, with my phenomenal team, have had full participation in these meetings as well as our team meetings. So that for me as a team leader is always a big win when we have people that are excited about showing up. So those are my big wins.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. I'm glad everybody showed up. You know, as a coach and an instructor, I love it when people come to class and take notes and participate. So I'm with you there, Joe. Just showing up is a big part of it, right? David was talking 2 seconds ago about, you know, am I going to do a deal? And like, yeah, if you show up and you plug in and you do the work, you're going to do a deal, right? EXP Explained. So for anybody who doesn't know about EXP or wants to learn more, our partners, Dan and Kyle, are doing an EXP Explained tomorrow. The reason I bring that up is because it's a great leverage piece for people like me and Joe. We can send anybody there every week. They get the full explanation of how the company works and all of the value and why they would join our group versus another group and all that stuff. And Dan and Kyle do that every week. And they each sell 400 plus homes a year in San Diego. So these guys are doing $6 or $7 million of commissions, and they're taking time out of their calendar every week to explain EXP to any guests or any people that we want to send over there. So number one, that's amazing. Number two, they changed their presentation and they're actually including one of our tribe members, Megan Niles, who I personally coach, in the explanation of EXP because she had such an incredible success story. So Megan came over about a year ago and she had sold 2 houses in a year with KW. She's with Keller Williams for a year. She sold 2 houses. She came over here in April for about 3 months. She just kind of struggled and was trying to build a pipeline and doing what she could do. And I was helping her and, you know, all that stuff. About 3 months in, she started closing deals. Well, guess what? She's closing 3 deals a week now. She is on fire. She's going to icon. She capped in her first 9 months. She has 15 deals under contract and closed so far this year. And it's only March 10th. So that means she's on pace to close like 50 deals this year as a solo agent in her really second year in the business, right? Her first year didn't really count. She didn't find her way. So that's as good as it gets, guys. Like to go from 2 deals to 15 deals to 50 deals, like that's what you want to do. That's what you want to plug into. So if you guys want to know how it's done, number one, get in my inner circle, right? I coach Megan personally because she put in so much effort and so much work that I said, hey, I'm willing to devote extra time to you. And then the second thing is tap into everything EXP offers. Go to all the trainings, go to all the classes, go, listen to Dan and Kyle every week on Mondays, at 10 a.m. That's a training that's open to all of you. Pop on there and check that out and listen to that. Like, don't just get it from me, but then don't just go to training, right? It's not just about what we do here or what we talk about here, because all the theory and all the training and all this, it's all great, but it's all about implementation. And if you don't implement a great idea, if Dan Beer tells you exactly what the farming postcard should look like, right? He shows you an example of it and says, this is what you put on the front, this is what you put on the back, this is a call to action, this is everything else. And then you don't send it out to your farm, hey, guess what? You're not going to sell any houses. And if I give you the world's best script to call your database and you don't call your database, guess what? You're not going to sell any houses. So hopefully that's helpful. We are having an EXP sprint right now. So if anybody wants more details on that, let me know. That's pretty exciting stuff. Happy to, help anybody achieve that goal. If that's something they want to do, to go to a special event within EXP. And let's talk real estate. So who has questions that they would like to make sure we cover today? What kind of themes or topics or questions do you guys want to cover?
Hey, John, question. To become in your inner circle, what's the process? Or do I have to have a license first?
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, you can, we can have you come in and do some side projects or help out here and there, but honestly, until you get your license, no offense, but like, you're no good to me.
No, no
I
problem.
appreciate you. You seem like a very nice man, but
no, I understand, man. Whatever it is, you cannot change it.
You got to, I mean, the best thing you can do is put a great database together now. So we always say your database is your business, and your database is, your data bank. And so, you need 200, 250, 300 amazing people. And so what a lot of people will do, this is relevant to everybody on the call, a lot of people will get their license, they'll spend 3 months or 6 months or a year getting their license. And then once they have their license, then they start calling their database. And these are people they haven't talked to in 2 years or 3 years or 5 years. Well, guess what? You can't call them the first time in 2 years and hit them up for business. So while you're in the process of getting your license, this is a great time to have those bullshit calls where you're not asking. I mean, it's not bullshit, right? They're relationship building. Like, we always want to do that, but like, they're not business generating calls, right? They're, hey, how you doing? How's the family? What's going on? Da, 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 da. And then you can sprinkle in there like, hey, I'm getting my real estate license. Hey, I almost got my real estate license. And then the third call can be like, congratulations, I did get my real estate license. And now I'm in a position to help you and anybody else. Who do you know that can help me? And hopefully you've provided them with value along the way, in whatever they need in their life to ultimately, have earned the right to receive referrals at that stage. That help?
Yeah, it does. But the problem is I need to get to know more people first.
So that has to do with values. So, right. So you have to figure out what you like and you need to go do things. So you either need to do things in the real world. So you could join a club, a meetup group, you do cycling or paddleboarding, or, I can't tell you what you're into, golf, whatever, find things that you enjoy where people are still meeting up in person and go do those in-person events and go meet more people. Or find things you enjoy that they're not doing in person, but they are doing an online version of. So right now, like BNI, if you've ever heard of BNI, it's like a networking group. They don't have in-person meetings right now. They do them all virtually. There's a lot of things that are done virtually, right? I'm in a couple snowboarding groups online. There's a lot of things that you like. I could go snowboarding with people, but what are the chances I'm going to meet a bunch of people snowboarding? Like, we're all masked up and on the mountain and whatever. Like, I'm not going to meet people. But guess what? Every single day, there's like 100 people bitching about something on the snowboarding group. There's like 100,000 members, and everybody's like, oh, stupid skier screwed up my day. Like, guy stomped on my board. My brand new board got dinged. Like, whatever. But like, I can use that to make connections and find people in my local market and build relationships with. I've been doing this for a long time, so I understand how to kind of turn strangers into friends. But I'm happy to kind of explain sort of that process. The process it's really simple. You just start by having a bit of an interaction in a public space. So that could be a mom's group, a dad's group, a snowboarding group, a gardening group, any type of Facebook group, and or Instagram in general, right? So if you're an Instagrammer and you follow a bunch of people, follow the influencers, right? Don't go follow the one person. Yeah, the networking group is BNI. Yeah, it's like a franchise. It's like a concept. You can set up your own networking group, which I'll talk about next. But you follow an influencer, right? You don't want to go pick up somebody who has one follower. Like, follow a real person in the area who might be able to help you, right? They know a lot of doctors or nurses or veterinarians, or they're the coolest police officer in Los Angeles. Like, it doesn't really matter, right? But get connected to somebody that can get you connected to more people. And then it's simple. You just engage with their content. So if somebody posts something, if Joe posts something on Facebook, I know that that's just Joe looking for attention. Right? I don't mean that in a negative way. Like, it's not about Joe, even though that's true. It's just anytime somebody posts on Facebook, they want you to interact. That's the whole point of posting. And so you can go and interact, and you can say, that's really cool. Thanks for the share. Gosh, I really appreciate it. Hey, I have a question about that. Is it okay if I send you a private message? Whatever it is. And then after you kind of publicly interact with this person 3, 4, 5, 10 times, however much you feel comfortable, then you, right, just like a guy on Tinder, you slide into the DMs, baby. You just, right, but do it in a way that's not creepy. Myra's like, who is this guy? But that's the truth, right? That's how it works. That's how you turn internet strangers into friends. Because if you've engaged in a public space multiple times and you guys are friends or becoming friendly or whatever, then when you send them a message, you can be like, hey, Joe Turco, what's up? And then Joe's going to be like, this weird, this guy's never messaged me before, whatever. And he's going to message me back. He's like, Jon Pugh, how you doing? Like, great, man. Hey, just wanted to get to know you a little bit better. What's your goal this year? How can I help you? What are you looking for? I network with a lot of people. Who are you looking to be introduced to? And Joe's going to be like, dude, I am looking to be introduced to top producing agents in the, New England region. I'm building a mega team across every state in New England, and I need to know people in every state, whatever. Well, if I want Joe to like me and I want Joe to work with me, I need to go find people to introduce Joe to. So now my mission is to go connect Joe to people in New England to right? So same thing with the doctor or the cop or whatever. Like, everyone has a goal. Everyone needs something, right? So, hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm raising money for this charity. I want to, my goal is this year, I want to raise $500,000 to, build a school or do whatever. Okay, great. Or teacher, right? Hey, what do you need? What do you need, Mrs. Halverson? That's my kid's teacher. So, Mrs. Halverson, what do you need? Like, what do you mean? Well, you need school supplies, you need backpacks, you need somebody to volunteer, you want somebody to read to the kids. Like, what do you need? Let me help you. Let me help provide you with what you need or find you what you need. And then when you do good for other people, then they want to return the favor and give you referrals. That helpful? Another one that's really good is build your own networking group. So BNI is BNI is a really nice place. They're a really great organization, and they're full of a lot of really great people. But in my opinion, they're a little too corporate. I'm not a big fan of the corporate nonsense. I don't like doing things for the sake of doing things. I don't like having meetings for the sake of having meetings and all this other stuff. They have a formula, they have a process, and it works. But you don't need to pay $1,000 to become a member of a local BNI. You can start your own BNI, right? Start your own network. So all you have to do is come up with the 15 or 20 people that all work by referral, the same way a BNI group works, and go source them and get them in your group. So go create your own personal referral network of professionals in your market. So let's take some suggestions. Who would be a professional that we could add to our referral group in our market that we could pass referrals back and forth with one another? Joe?
High-end window treatments. Someone that specializes.
And that's a niche right there, man. Nobody's picking that person up, right? High-end window treatments. I get where your head's at.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you think about it, everybody's going to go after plumbers, electricians, insurance agents, lawyers, stuff like that. But you go to someone that's a high-end window treatments or high-end lighting, or you go to, a custom like furniture maker where, the pieces that they make are $3,000 or $4,000, $5,000, $8,000. Who are the people that are going to be in their network? It's
only rich people.
Only rich people.
Financial
See
advisor.
that, and that like gives me hives because I don't want anything to do with that clientele because that's my past life. But that is the business Joe wants to build. So if I was building the business Joe wants to build, that's exactly who I would go after. You know who else is great? Interior designers. An incredible interior designer. window treatments, custom furniture, woodworking, right? Cabinets, custom cabinets, not that cheap shit they just pop in, but like the expensive type of like woodworking, custom type cabinet stuff. That's great. Joe hit the nail on the head with all the other typical ones. Yeah, flooring, contractor,
Septic.
SEO expert, somebody who does, who does websites, right? Attorneys. But if you're going to go after an attorney, go after a young attorney. If you go after the really competitive trades where they tend to know a lot of real estate agents already, go after brand new ones who don't have established relationships with people. And you can get a brand new attorney who graduated just past the bar, and you can become his go-to, right, for his divorce people, or a probate attorney or a trust attorney, right? There's multiple types of attorneys that can help you. Time out on the trust attorney, says Joe.
No. So Chris, is there a good way that people could look up newly licensed attorneys?
Yeah. I'd have to research it. I don't know it offhand, but yes.
Okay. So maybe next week you can come back with that, and everybody that's here today that wants to know about that, because Chris is an attorney.
Oh, I knew I didn't like him. Just kidding. I love
I don't
him.
know about John.
He's my favorite, by the way, if I have a favorite.
This
If
is-
it makes you feel better, John, Chris put on a shirt for this one.
I was just
Oh,
going
that's
to say,
hot.
that, yeah, but you know, John, we're not close enough. John doesn't get to see bare shoulders yet.
I gave him some serious tips about managing his anxiety. So we're anxiety buddies now. So if
Just-
anybody else struggles with anxiety from time to time, let me know. I've been working on that for quite a bit. So that's a different coaching call. All right. So pick these trades. Gardeners. You know who the best person to have in your little networking group is? Solar salespeople. Solar salespeople go and pound the pavement every single day, and they basically can talk anybody into getting solar because of the way the world is these days, tax credits and all that stuff. But you know who never bought solar? Somebody who was about to sell their house. That person never bought solar. So guess what? Every time they get a no, it's a yes for you. And every time you get a new client who just moved into a house, when's the best time to get solar? Right when you bought your house, because you're going to get the maximum return. There's actually a company, if anybody's interested, PM me. There's actually a company that built their solar business exactly like the EXP model. And all you have to do is refer the people. You can become a solar salesperson in addition to your real estate license. And if you just refer the interested people to, you could say, hey, I'll pay for your first month's bill or your first 6 months or whatever. But they'll pay you like a residual on it. And the checks are big. You can make like 10 grand for helping somebody get solar, and it can be like a secondary form of income for you. So if you're interested, I think it's called Power, POWUR. But I have a friend in our RevShark group, Bobby, who does it, and he made I think he made 40 grand off of it last year. Just like a handful of clients that opted in for solar. Pretty wild, and they do it all by computer and satellite and all this other stuff. So pretty crazy. What else? See you, Joe. Enjoy dinner at the fam. Kiss the baby for me. Who else is really good for that? Networking groups. Pest control can be great. Anybody who goes door to door is great.
What about like a safe installing, like a installation security installator?
Security
Yeah.
systems for
Yeah.
sure, for you to again, these are going to be people that you're going to recommend anyway, right? You're going to want to recommend security installation and all kinds of people to your people when they buy. So if you're going to be sending business, you should set up a networking group so they can send business to you, right? Any other suggestions of people we should add to this list? Butcher, baker, candlestick maker,
Financial advisor.
Septic guy.
financial advisor. Absolutely. Financial advisor is one of those that you want to get a young one because they tend to have their go-to realtor. So you got to have like a special value proposition for that.
I'll come back next week and I'll be able to tell you how to find out who's a new financial advisor. My mom's in the industry.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll get more of these. We can compile these, crowdsource these on something, but you don't need 100. you need, and it doesn't really matter what kinds, because really there's a great book on this called Tribes by Seth Godin. It basically establishes the idea between a strong tie and a weak tie. And this is basically the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. But a strong tie is somebody I know. So I know all of you. Well, each of you knows 150 people. So I am connected to each of you and all of your people. The people you know are a weak tie, right? We're 1 degree of separation away. And the strong ties are the people you know directly. And so if you look at your 150 people and you multiply that exponentially by all of the people they know, you end up with like 30,000 people. And so the rule is, right, 1 degree of separation from the 150 people who you know well is all the people you ever need to know. You never need to go meet strangers. You know 100 people, they know 100 people, that's it. Does that make sense? Like, I want to hammer home that point. Like, I really want you guys to understand that every dollar, every referral, every piece of business you ever needed in your entire life is literally just a friend of your current friends. And yet we want to spend all day long going to find strangers on the internet. Oh, let me go find these people that I'm not connected to in any way, shape, or form. We don't have the same values. We don't have the same friends. We don't even live in the same geography. Like, why are we doing this, right? It's because we think it's easier to go meet a stranger than it is to talk to our friends. Most of us don't want to appear salesy. Who here will admit that they've ever resisted talking to their friends or family or trying to get referrals because they don't want to appear like a salesperson, right? Give me an excuse. What's an excuse of why you won't call your friends and family and ask them for business?
How long we got?
Exactly. Give me one now.
I haven't talked to them in a while.
Yeah, I haven't talked to them in a while. What else?
Oh, I have talked to them recently, and I know right now they're going through some really tough times. So I don't want to make it me.
They're dealing
Right.
with some shit, so they're too busy to help
Right.
me. This is good. I'll get back to that one in a second. What else?
Okay, thank you.
They know you're already doing real estate. You don't want to annoy them.
Yeah, they know I'm in real estate. So if they had somebody, I'm sure they'd send them over. I don't want to bug them. Any others? All right. So let's go back to they're going through some shit. So anybody here ever gone through some shit themselves? Ever had a hard day, a hard week, a hard time in life? I have.
Mhm.
Did you ever have the opportunity to help somebody when they were struggling? Did that make you feel better or worse?
Better.
Better, right? So aren't you depriving them of the ability to feel good about what they did because you didn't give them the opportunity to help you in a time of need?
You're right.
Right? Like, if they introduce you to someone, they're going to feel good that they helped you build your business. And they're going to feel good that they got their friend an amazing referral to an agent who would actually take care of them and help them buy a home. And they're going to be momentarily distracted from their own nonsense and drama. So what I'm not doing is I'm not enlisting somebody. I'm not calling Joey or Chris. I mean, like, hey, Chris, what are you doing for the next 7 days? Why don't you take a couple days off work? I need you to come over to my farm and I need you to help me door knock. Right? I never called Chris and said that. That would be insane, right? Nobody would ever do that. But what I might do is call Chris and say, hey, Chris, how's it going, man? Chris is like, oh, John, it's really tough, man. I'm going through some shit. Da, 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 da. Hey, let's talk about it. I got some time. I'm an ear to listen, pour it out to me. And he spends the next 30 minutes telling me his sob story about, his sheep that he lost, it's wandering the foothills. And he can't find it. He's so sad about it. It was his favorite sheep, whatever. Right. And at the end of that, I'm like, dude, thank you so much for sharing that. Like, I'm glad I was able to talk to you, feel a little bit better about it, et cetera, whatever. And we're all being genuine, right? I'm speeding this up for our purposes, but in general, like, I would take the time, I would really care, I would really listen. And I would say, you know what, man, I really appreciate that. And honestly, like, I don't want to ask you to go out of your way or anything, but what I do know is that, you're probably going to bump into somebody in the next couple of weeks who's talking about real estate. And because we just had this chat and I just listened to your whole story about your sheep or whatever, you're gonna be like, oh my God, real estate. It's gonna like ring a bell in your head. And so if that happens, like, could you just text me their info? Like, don't go out of your way, man. Like, no big deal, whatever. But if you just happen to have this person fall in your lap, like, I would so appreciate it because, I'm trying to build my business, whatever. And there has to be a bridge between the two things, right? We can't just segue from him being sad or his life thing to my thing. But if you're going to be a good friend and you're going to be present and you're going to help, there's no reason that somebody wouldn't want to return the favor. I mean, how many people, we had people that would call their database recently as a month ago. They would call their database and these people would answer the phone. Let's say it's Kathy. She's a 72-year-old, mother of 7 cats and she lives alone, right? They would answer the phone and they would be like, oh my gosh, Myra, you're the first person I've talked to in 3 months. COVID and these restrictions and these lockdowns have separated people from one another. They've created these really tough situations. Does anyone here know anyone who said they've recently separated or they're getting divorced now that lockdowns are starting to kind of let up? Has anyone heard this yet?
No,
I have,
after
Yeah, go ahead.
a surge in pregnancies.
Have you seen that?
I did. I
Yeah?
did actually, yeah.
I've had like 5 friends recently tell me that they're separating or getting divorced. So it's coming. And we knew it would, right? Like locking people together for an extended period of time and taking all of those outlets and distractions away. It's a really good way to realize that you and your spouse are not compatible. But that's also a form of business, right? Many times when somebody gets divorced, that's 3 transactions. But if you're not in front of them, you're not going to know. And if you're not the friend, right, you're never going to get somebody's divorce business by just dropping shit or whatever, right? Like you have to really be there for them and support them. And a lot of times it's really messy and sometimes it's more work than it's honestly worth. But people are going through stuff right now, right? That's the biggest part of it. And so because people are struggling, whether it be emotionally or mentally or, with their spouse, or maybe they got laid off or they can't, afford their payments or whatever, I would say that, out of 100 people, 92 of them are going through some shit. And I would also say that if we make that the determining factor, like we're not going to ask anyone for business that's going through some stuff. Like if that's the case, right, then we're not going to ask anybody for business. It's kind of like my favorite way of door knocking. I'll give you guys this example before. So you go door knocking, right, in a neighborhood. You print out 100 flyers, their market update. It's got all the info, right? You're fully prepared. You have 2 shots of tequila before you set out on foot, right? You got to loosen yourself up. So I highly recommend a shot or 2 of tequila right before you go door knocking. And then you park your car and you get out and you go to the first door and it's like, oh, this door's dead. Nobody's home. You knock real confidently, like no big deal because nobody's there. You wait about 4 seconds, you drop your flyer, you turn around, you walk away. You're like, all right, cool. I got one under my belt. You go to the next house, dead as a doornail, cobwebs, whole 9 yards. This house has been vacant for 2 years. You knock on the door real confident, no big deal. You get to the third house and there is a Lexus parked in the driveway. You can kind of hear it making that clicking sound like they just pulled in, right? The little water is still dripping from the front of it, whatever. You're like, oh man. You walk up to the front and inside you can kind of see through the window. There's like a woman and she's unloading groceries and right. And she's got a friend there and they're chit-chatting or whatever. What do? Most of the time you leave your flyer and you walk away. And what you tell yourself is, oh, she's busy. She just got home. She's unloading groceries. I don't want to bug her. Right? I don't want to bug her. Then you go to the next house and it's dark and empty and there's no car in the driveway. So what do? You knock really confidently. Well, are you there to door drop or are you there to door knock, right? If you're there to generate conversations and meet people, you'll skip the ones that are dark. You won't even knock. You'll just drop shit and you'll only go to the houses where it looks like someone's home. If you want to be really efficient, you'll just look in the neighborhood for the people that are taking their trash cans in and out. You'll go, I used to take my dog. I used to just drive around with my dog to different parks. And anytime I saw a bunch of people at a park with their dogs, I would park and get out and take my dog and walk over to them and be like, oh, hi, nice to meet you, da-da-da-da-da. Yes, I literally did that. I literally took my dog around to random places and dog parks and stuff because I needed to meet new people. And I didn't know how to meet people on the internet at that point. And so I just drove around and met people with my dog. I got a really cute dog. Other things, right? Garage sales. So when you guys see a garage sale sign, do you guys go? Yes, no, maybe. Does everybody go? Yeah. So
Negatives.
when I was trying to build my business, I would literally go to every single garage sale I ever saw. I'm late. I'm 20 minutes late for a haircut and I see a garage sale sign. I pull over, right? Two things. Number one, they're full of people. So you can meet random people at a garage sale, right? Number two, if you're having a garage sale, there's a good chance you're cleaning out your house. If you're cleaning out your house, there's a potential that you might be selling. So I need to head over there and be like, oh my gosh, you have so much amazing stuff. Why are you getting rid of all of this? Oh, we're thinking about selling our house. We wanted to clean up before we start interviewing real estate agents. My God, you're kidding me. I'm a real estate agent. That's amazing. What are the chances? It's like an angel from heaven sent me here to meet with you. I don't know how I figured that out. Right. And these are ideas. Like these are real. I would only ever tell you real life shit that I did that worked. And like those are real life things, right? You have to prioritize your life around, putting yourself in a position where you can get lucky. Anybody here wear a name tag?
No.
Mark wears a name tag. I love it. Who else wears a name tag?
Like
Nobody?
in what context? Like I just walk around with a name tag everywhere I go?
Yeah. A real estate name badge.
Definitely not wear a name tag.
Yeah. So most people don't. But here's the deal. It only takes one $10,000 check to change your mind. And I personally have not done it a lot. I've done it a little. But what I will tell you is the people I know who wore a name tag consistently, they sourced 2 to 4 deals a year out of it by wearing it consistently everywhere they went.
I don't know, man. John, where I live, I might get beat up for that stuff.
I totally understand that, except I have one way to make it cooler. I actually have a couple ways to make it cooler. Number one.
What is that in tag?
Sorry, who has that question?
So what is that in tag?
A name tag. So they make these little name badges
Got it.
that have your name and they say realtor on them. Now the $1,000 tip, the way that we make this fun, never wear your name tag right side up. Only wear your name tag upside down. When you wear it upside down, people in the grocery store or wherever you are will come up to you and be like, oh, your name tag's upside down. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize that. Thank you so much for telling me. By the way, my name's John. What's yours? Oh, I'm Karen. Yeah. Hey, Karen, as you see, I sell real estate. Gosh, how silly of me to put that on upside down. Hey, who do you know that's looking to buy or sell this year? Right? You're already in the conversation. People will literally, I swear to God, this is the dumbest thing I've said in a long time. I get it. I know we're all going to get beat up if we wear a name tag. And if you have enough business and you have enough leads, don't do this. But if you don't, go get a cheap $5 name tag and wear that shit upside down. I swear to God, it works. Okay. Number 2, if you want to make it more fun, all things real estate. So if you go on allthingsrealestate.com, or I think that's what it is, but I'll find it for you if that's wrong. They sell real estate branded swag. So go get a laptop protector thing, or like a sticky. There's like a little sticky that goes on your laptop. So when you open it up, people read it and it says like, I'm a realtor, or I sell houses, or whatever, or I love real estate, or whatever, right? There's fun ones. They make hats, they make t-shirts, right? Who sells houses? This guy. Like fun, they have funny ones. They have, right, everything you can imagine. If you go to the gym every day, my partner Missy, she got custom shirts made that had her hashtag on it, and one of them said like, the only thing hotter than this ass is the real estate market. So like, you have to own it. You have to make it your own. Like that. But if you're going to go to the gym 5 days a week, why the hell are you not putting a billboard on your ass? Like, you should, right? If you want to take this on a very minimal level, get the EXP Realty hat. Right? I have an EXP hat that I wear all the time. You guys have seen me wear it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go, I have it on because I want to constantly promote the fact that I'm an EXP, because that's a big part of my goals, is to attract other agents to EXP. And so I use it as a billboard. So don't be afraid to build some billboards into your daily life, whether it be a hat, a t-shirt, a mouse pad, a laptop cover thing.
Pop
mug. Yeah, a pop socket, your favorite mug, like whatever, a name tag that you wear upside down, because you're going around every single day, right? Presumably, and you're interacting, or at least people are seeing you, right? If they're not, then you need to get out of your cave. And if you're in your cave because of COVID, like that's fine. Stay in there as long as it takes for you to feel comfortable. But you got to get on the internet and pretend you're walking around the world, right? You got to use the internet as your face-to-face conversations. If you're not physically going to get face-to-face with people, you need to get on the internet face-to-face with them. But we're going to open up here very soon, right? We're already starting to open up restaurants, things, and blah, 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 and vaccines and whatever, right? And so you have to start thinking about how your day-to-day life is going to incorporate the opportunity for you to meet people. And you're going to need to get comfortable with talking to everyone. So like I go to a doctor's appointment, right? Let's say I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow morning. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check in, right? How many people do you think the lady who checks in at the doctor's office talks to every day?
Hundreds.
A lot, like 100, yeah. And how many doctors does she know? Like 20, right? Because that's how doctor's offices work. And how many nurses does she know, right? Probably like 50. So if she knows 50 nurses and 20 doctors and sees 100 people every day, why are you not talking to her? Chat her up, get to know her, right? Make friends, say, hey, if you ever hear anybody talking about real estate, here's my number, text me, I'd love to bring you, what do you guys like here? You like all the other doctor's offices I know? You like a box of donuts? Like I'll bring a box of donuts every Monday for a year if you refer me one client, right? Whatever, just butter them up, right? Then you get taken back into the nurse, right? And the nurse comes in to do your blood pressure. Do you ask the nurse for business? Do you ask her what her real estate related plans are for that year? Do you butter her up? Then who's in next? The doctor. Do you talk to him about real estate? This is one doctor's appointment that's going to take you an hour, and that's 3 contacts you could have just made. Plus, you could have talked to the person sitting next to you in the waiting room. You could talk to the guy that you see in the lobby on the way out. If you want to stop by the gift shop and buy a coffee or whatever before you leave, you could talk to that person too. So real estate is a contact sport. If you're talking to 5 or 10 or 20 people a day, right? We say 5 is the minimum. 10 is a really nice goal. 20 is kind of the max. You'd find it hard to talk to more than 20 people per day about real estate. That would be challenging. You can talk to 100 if you're purposeful and you block your entire day for it and you just go, completely balls to the wall. But short of that, right? 5 is very incremental. 5 is very manageable. Well, I just showed you how to talk to 5 at your doctor's appointment. If you want to talk to 20 or 30 people a day on a consistent basis, it has to be everyone you encounter. It has to be the guy who hands you your keys at the car wash. It has to be the girl who checks you in at the doctor. It has to be the guy at Trader Joe's when you're doing your checkout. It needs to be 5 people from your phone that you pick up and call while you're driving back and forth from places. It needs to be, right, the security guard at the building where you're, going into for your meeting. Like whatever that is, right? If you don't pick up those fringe people coming and going, you're never going to get anywhere. Since we're talking about lead generation, because I feel like that's the topic that most people need to hammer on, right? And we can talk about lead conversion more next week, because these 2 things go hand in hand, right? Lead generation and lead conversion. Nothing else matters until you master those. The last one on lead generation, I may have mentioned this before a little bit, is new construction. So new construction, right? There's a long wait list for those right now, depending on where you are. And this may not be a great source of now business, but guess what? If they can't buy a home, so let's say someone doesn't know that the sales office opens at noon on Saturday, and there's a new home development nearby your house. Well, if you went there and hung out for a little bit, an hour or 2 before they open, what are the chances you're going to meet some people who might want to be there, right? They think the sales office opens at 10, doesn't really open till noon. And then here's you, Mr. Realtor, standing there with a cup of coffee with your name badge on upside down. And then you're like, hey, are you here to see the new homes? And they're like, yeah, I know, me too. I wanted to check them out for some clients I'm working with, but they're not open till noon. Can you believe that? I already called the number on here. They say they have a 2-year wait. Can you believe that? A 2-year wait? We can't wait 2 years. Well, I'm supposed to be meeting somebody, but I got a couple minutes. Do you want to chat? See if I can help you out? Yeah, let me get your number. As soon as I'm done here, I'll follow up with you, whatever, right? So you can actually prospect for clients, live, ready clients at the new home development before they open. Now, if you get caught standing out there at 12:30 when they're open and you're trying to snag clients as they walk in, you're going to get kicked out. That is not what I'm recommending, right? Don't go and try and poach the already flow of clients that are walking into the new home development, but go early and take the ones who have no idea when it opens and build clients out of that. There's nothing wrong with that. And I guarantee you, I've had multiple people tell me that that is more productive than an entire afternoon spent at an open house. Just an hour or two at the new home community. All right, what questions do you guys have now?
That website is not working, John. I don't know if you got it right.
I put it in the chat.
Oh, you did? Cool. Thank you.
I was gonna say, I'm like, it's in the chat. I think it is working, but
I
could be wrong.
am
and you,
I did the first one you said.
and they have cute stuff, right? Like it's not all boring, right? Like under promo marketing, it's like, I don't know. It's supposed, like one of them's like real estate matchmaker that you can use as like a reusable coffee sleeve, right? There's just like, there's different stuff that, can be kind of cutesy. You got to have fun with it, right? Nobody wants to work with a boring real estate agent. What other questions do you guys have about anything? Ask me anything. Nothing? Nothing at all?
How about the homeowner that does not want to move? Let's say it's your friend and they've been in the house 50 years. How can you work them to get a lead from them? Because a lot of them is like, as soon as you mention anything real estate, they just want to leave.
I'm never
moving.
Yeah, I'm never moving. I'm never doing it.
Right.
So number one is you can't motivate someone. So if they have no interest in moving and they have no interest in referring you, then that's just, you need to move on. So one of the best pieces of advice I can give you is don't spend all your time trying to convert a non-convertible lead. So what a lot of people will do is they'll take 5 bad leads, and because they have 5 bad leads, they'll just keep working those 5 bad leads thinking they can turn them into a deal. When in reality, if they took that same amount of effort and they just went to go look for 5 new leads, that those 5 new leads would probably convert, but you're trying to put a round peg in a square hole. So I would say the first thing is sometimes you just got to move on. The second thing is they don't want to refer you because you haven't given them enough value yet. So they may not move, they may move, they may not move, they may buy an investment property, they may not buy an investment property. All of that though is predicated on your value and the conversations you have with them. So if it was me, I'd be like, yeah, hey, Steve and Kathy, I know you're never moving, but do you guys realize that your maximum amount that you can shield from capital gains, that you already blew past that about 6 years ago? And that I have, the calculation on your house says your house is worth about 750 and you bought it for 200,000 and you can only shield, 500,000 from capital gains. So as your home continues to appreciate, when you go to sell eventually, or when your heirs do or whatever, if you end up not passing it on to your heirs and you have to sell the home, you're going to end up paying capital gains and you're going to lose 25% of all the money, all the equity that you established. Instead, what if we, sold your home? I know you like this neighborhood. Let's buy you a different house across the street or around the corner, and you can reestablish your basis at a lower number. Like that would be the conversation I would have with them. But I would also be like, hey, have you thought about pulling out some of your equity to buy an investment property? Why don't you, this has worked out for you really well. You made a lot of money here. Why don't you invest and make some more money in this? I have 5 great ideas for investment properties. I have 2 in Arizona, 1 in Texas, 3 here in the Boston area. Check these out, see if you like the numbers on any of them. And then they look, and then you're like, hey, you didn't like the numbers on any? No, we don't really want to invest. We're good. We're old. We're boring, blah, blah, blah. Great. Who do you know who's looking to invest in real estate this year? Can you introduce me to 5 people that I could show these ideas to? Because you agree, they're pretty good ideas, right? Like if you were investing, you would be investing in this one in Arizona with the 10% cap rate, right? You know, Arizona's predicted to go up 20% this year, something crazy like that in values. Like, who do you know that I can put this in front of? Right? And then it's just a matter of continuing to provide value, because if you put it, you know, how to win friends and influence people. If you provide enough value to someone in their life, they will go out of their way to help you. You just have to figure out what they want and help them get it first. And if they're not referring you, it's because you haven't helped them get what they want. What other questions?
I have an unrelated question to today's
Yeah.
topic.
Sure.
What do you have kind of a go-to when it comes to doing closing gifts, or
Client
giving at
Giant.
the, what's
Yeah,
that?
I'll go through all this. Client Giant. He's the #1 vendor for this.
Client Giant.
They will automate your entire client gift experience for the rest of your career. They buy cool gifts at bulk and then ship them to all of their clients across the country. They work specifically with real estate agents. They're cool. I use AvaBot. So Ava is like a smart app. So I can text anybody a link. And so basically, if I get a referral, or if it's a closing gift, or if it's an anniversary or birthday or anything, I can pick the amount and I can pick the recipient, and it sends them a text code and it says, hey, click this to personalize your gift. And then it asks them questions like, hey, would you rather have, you know, are you more of a partier or more of a, you know, you like whiskey or cupcakes or whatever, right? It asks them questions and it narrows it down. And then it builds them a custom box based on what they answer relative to the price that I said I wanted to spend. And what I like about that is I can also record a video on there. So not only do they get this like neat little texty kind of tech experience, but they also get to see a little video, they get to provide feedback, and then I get the data. So I get the data on when's their birthday, what, you know, how did they like the experience, what's their home address, like whatever data is collected comes back to me. So I think that's a cool feature. We've also done cutting boards. So I have custom, I'll show you actually, hold on. So we've personalizationmall.com is the website.
Oh wow.
You kind of see that. So
Yeah.
the cutting boards are not expensive. We would pair this. So we do a custom, you can see this is 2019. So what you don't want to do is get the custom cutting board and all this shit done and then not give it to your client. So that's what happened here. So that's just a FYI. This is from 2019. We never delivered it. So what we're going to do is we're going to deliver it on the 2-year anniversary of when they moved in. And we're going to say it's an anniversary gift and that it was established when they bought their home. So that's how we're going to save ourselves on that one. But we have to wait a couple months until it's the anniversary, because if we just dropped it off today, we'd look like assholes. So they never got a closing gift, but they did get a killer deal on a house and they made a bunch of money. And then in here also are like custom wine. These are champagne flutes. So normally what we'll do is like a bottle of wine or champagne, the cutting board, the cheese thing, whatever. It's all like one nice little gift. It goes, and those are like based on price point. I used to do like custom gifts for everybody. So like I had a photographer, like a really cool photographer. I went to like an antique store and I got him like an old Kodak like box camera, and that was his closing gift as like an art piece. I had a client who was a huge Cincinnati Bengals fan, so I got the quarterback to autograph a helmet and gave him like an autographed helmet. The reason that those gifts are cool is if you can give someone a closing gift that they put on display in their home and it's non-disposable. So the problem with like a bottle of wine or box of chocolates or whatever is it gets disposed of. And if you give them a gift card or whatever, they're going to lose it or use it or whatever. But if you give them something that lasts forever, that's great, which is why people recommend like Cutco or cutting boards. Like that cutting board tends to be more of a display piece. But if you can give them something that's really special that they're going to put in the center of their living room, right? Like I know that helmet, that autographed helmet was like displayed in the house. And so, you know, if you can do that, then people are going to come over and be like, oh my God, that's badass. Like, that's really cool. How'd you get an Andy Dalton signed helmet? Da, 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 da. And then they're going to say, oh, my realtor gave it to me. He's the best. Right. So I try it.
How did you get an Andy Dalton signed helmet?
Same way everybody does. eBay.
Pristine auction, bro. Do you have like a certain budget per like 100,000 spent, or is it just
sort
kinda-
of? Yeah, I tend to spend like 100 to 200 bucks depending, but my price point's pretty good. I mean, you know, less than 50 tends to feel pretty cheap. You know, the government says you're supposed to spend what, 50-ish. You're only supposed to write off, you know, up to that or less. I can't remember specifically. I ignore all that. But yeah, you know, what's hard, it's hard when you get a really high price point. Like when the number goes up significantly, those are the hardest ones to do. We also offer all our clients to host. I'm actually going to drop something really important for you guys, so give me 1 second. Where did it go? 1 sec, this is important, so I'm going to give this to you guys. I hope this works. I think it will. I think this will work. So we offer to host a housewarming party for all our clients. And all right, perfect. Let me know if that link works. It needs to be updated. It's older, but that's our policies and procedures manual. It has all of our systems and everything that we did. So it has like a moving day box that we would create. So when clients would move, we would give them a box of like supplies that they would have packed or forgot. So it had like a Sharpie and tape and scissors and box cutter and napkins and wipes and plates and cups and all that stuff. And then we put a cool thing on the top that says like, you might have forgot some of this. We were thinking of you today. We'll have pizza delivered during their move because people will have their friends over to help them move. And we want to make a good impression around their friends. So that tends to be a good thing to do. We offer to do housewarming parties. We have the setup of exactly how we do it. So if it's a lower price point, we spend less money. Usually it's like tacos or barbecue or something like that. If it's a higher price point, then we spend more money. And it's like, you know, pastries and like a French bistro and just different stuff. So there's a lot of ways to spoil your clients. You can do client appreciation events, you know, throughout the year. You could do one per year. I just saw an amazing idea where these people are doing Easter egg delivery service. So you basically send to your entire farm, hey, do you have kids? Do you forget? Do you hate wrapping, you know, doing Easter gifts or Easter eggs and da 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 da? Well, we have a solution for you. Donate $5 to $50. We're going to donate all the money when we're done to charity. And someone from our team will come over the night before Easter and hide Easter eggs in your yard for your kids to find the next morning. So you're raising money for charity, you make yourself look really good, you make the kids happy, right? It checks a lot of boxes, and you can send it to your entire database and say it's limited to the first 20 people who donate or whatever that looks like. It's just cool community style type touches.
Thank you.
Did that link work? Did anyone try it?
Yeah, I downloaded it.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, cool. So that should be helpful. There's a lot of really good stuff in there. All right, what did you guys learn today? Give me a couple of things you guys learned and then we'll hop off.
Lead generation, garage sales, are a good place to go. Just start throwing yourself out there whenever possible, basically.
Build your network, right? You'll be surprised. If you go out there, like one of two things will happen. Yeah, no worries. See ya. So one of two things will happen. One, you'll bump into somebody somewhere random, like at a garage sale, and they will want to sell, and you'll just about fall over dead because you'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe this worked. Like John told me this is going to happen. That's crazy. Or number two, you'll go out and you'll door knock for like 3 hours and you'll knock every single door because you'll remember my story about the Volvo or the Lexus and the drifts and whatever. And you'll go through the whole thing, right? And you won't get any business out of it. And then you'll be driving home and your phone will ring and it'll be a referral. And I don't know if you believe it, but I do. Like motion creates emotion. Energy is, just out there. And most of the business I did was on the back of a couple hours spent door knocking. So I don't know what it is about the universe, but it rewards your behavior. It doesn't always reward it in the way you think you're going to get it. But sometimes when you put that activity out there, something out of nowhere, you could be leaving, right? You're thirsty and you just door knock for 3 hours in the heat and you're pouring sweat and you stop to get a soda at McDonald's and that's where you bump into the person, right? It's not always where you think it is, but those things do work.
Thank
what
you.
other? Yeah, you're welcome. Give me one more aha and I'll let you guys go.
Never
although-
think that. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think what I learned is never think that someone who's you bump into will say no. Just go for it. Don't shy. Just do it. And
Just do it, just like Nike, just like your hat.
yeah, Versa Maxi will say no. That's it, right?
I mean, it's 100% chance of them saying no if you don't ask.
Right. When we were young, we wouldn't go for a bar or ask a woman. Versa Maxi will say no. Who cares? Move
Right. Sometimes she's drunk enough to say yes. You never know, man.
Yeah. That's the best
Just
way
kidding.
to do
Always get informed consent first, please.
it. Just kidding.
All right, guys. Well, that was fun. Thanks for coming today. We'll be here next week. Let me know if you need anything in the meantime. Hopefully that file I shared is helpful for you guys.
All right.
Have a good one.
You as
Bye.
well.
Bye.